Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat mga kabansa. Kayo po ay nasa iparushkayparas. Ito ay inyong lingkod. Ado Paglinawan na bumabati sa inyo. Bumati ka na rin, Secretary.
Yes, Paring Ado, good afternoon. Good afternoon din po sa ating mga kababayan na sinasabi natin earlier na talagang iyak na naman ang bawat isa ng mga Pilipino na naghihirap ngayon. Dahil tumaas na naman ng todo-todo ang inflation. At ito ay hindi naagapan ng gobyerno ni Marcos. Mahirap ang buhay. Napakamahal pa rin ang bilihin. Tumaas pa ang bigas, tumaas pa ang asukal, tumaas pa ang sibuyas, ang karne, lahat na. And this is not only due to this inflation. Ito po, tumaas na ang inflation. Tingnan natin po ang inflation ngayon.
Just in, inflation rate in July rises to 4.4%, the highest so far this year from 3.7% in June due to higher energy costs. It also breaches the government's upper end target of 2 to 4%. Justin.
So yun po, hindi makausad ang ating ekonomiya, hindi makausad ang ating mga taong bayan para hikayatin nila ang sarili nilang hanap buhay dahil hirap na hirap ang pera ng bawat isa. Pangalawa, Paring Ado, hirap na hirap din ang housing programs because a lot of our Filipinos are middle class, lower middle class. There is now a very large gap between the filter-rich na mga kauri ni Marcos, mga pinoprotektahan ni Marcos na mga cronies at ang middle class. Sabi nga ni Senator Nicky Cositeng, nalagas na ang middle class at lahat ngayon ay pababa na dito sa kahirapan. So, paano mo ilalagay ang sarili mo? Plus dito pa ngayon sa inflation na pumasok na naman. Paano makakabili ng bahay ang bawat isa? Napakataas na ngayon ang rate of interest. Tataasan pa ngayon dahil dito sa rate of inflation. Yung exchange rate ng peso to dollars, napakababa na ng value ng ating salapi, ang pesos. So, ito, hindi ito inaatupag nitong Marcos. Ang ginagawa niya, puro kasinungalingan, puro window dressing. Puro kumukuha ng mga figures from out of this world.
Pagtakip lang.
Pangtakip para lang makaraos sa kanyang State of the Nation. And in fact, isa-isa itong umaalis ang ating mga sekretary, ating mga kabinet. Ito, umalis na si Pascual dahil hindi niya matiis na tuloy-tuloy na pinapasinungalingan sa kanya yung pagdating daw ng mga investments when in fact it has remained pledges. So, ito, mayroong isang economist. Ito si Ginoong Ischeco. Ini-interview ng isang ano ba ito? Si columnist or broadcaster. Si April Litan. Tungkol sa growth or economy ng ating bansa. Pakinggan natin ito.
The 2023 to 2028 target of 1.4, ranging from 1.4 to 1.6 in 2025, all the way to 2 trillion in 2027 and 2028. Represents 5 to 6% of GDP. And the revised flagship list of from 197 to 185 infrastructure projects actually increased from 8.7 to 9.54 trillion. That is foundational to really laying the ground for a medium to longer term growth of the economy, because without that, you cannot really take off. Having said that, to go back to the point of Diwa about our growth, I am actually not really that proud of that we have the highest growth in ASEAN. Because remember that we dropped again by 9.9% in 2020 and 19.5% in the second quarter of 2020. During that same year, Vietnam actually overtook us on a per capita GDP. At hanggang ngayon, iniiwanan pa rin tayo. So I do not take pride in the statement that we are the fastest growing ASEAN country, because on a per capita basis, we have actually been left behind by Vietnam.
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah, I think-
reason.
yeah.
That's the reason, April,
Mm-mm.
why it is very difficult to simply say that yes, all of these infrastructure projects are good. It has gone up in terms of the share in the budget, the absolute amount. But unless we define what those critical infrastructures are to be able to finance growth and to bring about a higher level of economic growth, I don't think they're very meaningful. You can spend a lot putting up a bridge to nowhere. You spend a lot, that's about 2-3% of GDP. But if it does not lead to higher productivity, for example, the contribution to economic growth may be minimal, if not negligible.
These are people who are neutral, but who are saying and telling us the truth about our bansa. Ha? Kinikulilat na daw tayo ng Vietnam. Oh. Hindi siya naniniwala sa mga niyayabang ng mga ekonomista ni Marcos, mga kanyang mga minions diyan sa gobyerno, that we are fastest growing daw in Asia. These are all, as I said, window dressing para lang pakitang tao lamang.
Ang puntos ni Alex Escucha kasi ay okay, nandiyan nga, mataas nga. Pero ang per capita, yung amount of the population sharing the big increase is mababa. Talo tayo ng Vietnam.
In other words, to add to that,
Kakaunti lang nakikinabang.
that is exactly what I was saying, that there is a big, very large gap between the rich and the poor.
Lumalaki.
Ang kumukuha, ang humihigop
Lang sa taas.
ng ng cream of the cream na pera ng ating bansa, which is a product of our funding, a mixture of funding from BIR, from customs, plus borrowings, na pakalami na ng borrowings, ay hindi po ito nagtitrickle down sa mga mahihirap. So, it does not create growth. Sabi pa nga ni Diwa, okay, may pera. Part of that, nilulustay ng todo. Part of that, ginagastos sa infrastructure, but wala. Ito lang, inamin ni Mr. Bunuan doon sa investigation sa House, that wala silang master plan. So, saan mo dadalhin yung pera kung walang master plans? Kaya hatakan lang ng hatakan ang mga politiko. May kanya-kanya silang mga lugar, doon nila nilulustay ang pera, pati yung komisyon, pati yung kurakot doon sa pera.
Ako may comment ako dito kay Jaime Marcos dahil naglabas siya ng statement last week, no? Mrs. Amy Marcos, mawalang galang na po.
No.
Hindi po totoo na hindi nagkulang ang Senado sa 5,500 ghost flood control projects na yan. Bakit ngayon lang kayo naghahanap ng master plan? Bakit kayo nagtalaga ng kalahating trilyong budget base sa hangin lamang? Hindi ba dapat ay kinilatis
Ano bang
na yan sa
ginagawa ng
Kongreso?
committee nyo on
Oh.
public works?
Or
Ano
appropriation?
bang committee on appropriation dyan? Ha?
Ba't naghahanap ka ng master plan after na wala na?
Tapos prior to the baha, kung hindi nagbaha, wala lang din.
Oh,
Wala lang ding hearing.
Hindi na
Pero
nahalata.
bumaha, naggagalaiti yung mga senador. Pero prior to that, napakalakas ng palakpakan doon sa Kongreso. And these are the very same people na mga nagpapasasa ng pagkain, napakamahal daw yung pagkain na ginugol doon sa SONA eh.
20,000
Picture, nagpapa-interview, at pag-deliver ni Marcos ng SONA, wow, standing ovation. Marcos. Pero pagka nung nabaha na, nasaan sila?
Nawala.
Nanggagalaiti, nagbabatikos, yung isang anak ng Praile, kung ano-anong pinagdadaldal, dahil yung Bulacan daw, nagbaha ng todo.
Galing.
Pero, ngayon lang natuklasan yung master plan. So, anong gagawin nyo? Hindi nyo ba sipain yung mga irresponsible for not doing their job? Yun nga po ang nangyayari diyan. Ngayon, anong next step? Dito sa bistado na yung 5,500 na pinagyayabang, inamin pala ni Secretary Bunuan na ito palang mga projects na ito sa panahon pa ni President Duterte.
Parang pa ni Marcos.
Kinuha lang ng mga tao dyan sa Malacanang para ibubuno into one speech using data that has already been exhausted during the time of President Duterte. Ni-recycle lang para lang mag-standing ovation,
May palabas.
para maipalabas na may nagagawa si Marcos. Pero alam mo, ang Diyos ay hindi natutulog pinakita kagad through heaven sent na calamity. Kita mo, nabisto ka tuloy ngayon na wala ka palang flood control projects na pinagsasabi. Ngayon, nabisto ka tuloy na ang mga senador na sumisip-sip sa puwet mo, Marcos, ay galit na naman sa iyo ngayon, kasi niloko mo daw sila, napapalakpak tuloy sila sa iyo. So, these are things that's going on, mga kababayan. So, ito. Tapos, mayroon pang hearing dito sa QOJC. Nagsagawa pa ng hearing si Bato. Pero, alam mo, ito, pakinggan natin si Bato na nagsagawa ng hearing. Parang walang
Neither here nor there.
walang parang playing footsies with both sides. Ito, pakinggan natin.
Walang pupunta.
Walang paninindigan
I will recognize General Marbel after you. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon po, Sir Marbel. I really want to talk to you. No.
Yeah. No. Just address to this chairman.
Okay,
Yeah, please
Your
go ahead.
Honor.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to talk to you
Yeah.
for Marbel. Police officers, we love you before. Not only police officers,
Dito sa akin.
but But men in uniform, we love you before. Why? We are religious people and we are before secluded to the outside. But because of maraming mga haka sa amin doon, sa loob, baka nagsisabo kami, yung may harim sa loob, etc., etc. In fact, it was former Rodrigo Duterte
I will cut you short.
Yes.
Hindi ako naniniwala na nagsasyabo kayo sa loob. Laruhin
Pero
ko.
yun ang
laruhin ko,
haka-haka.
wala.
Yes, sir.
Hindi mangyayari yan.
Yes, kahit ipa-hair
From my
flip
wildest
pa kami,
imagination, hindi ko maisip na kayo gumagamit ng sabo.
Yes,
sa loob.
sir. So
I
doon
promise
tayo,
you.
sir, ha? Oo. But, yan ang naririnig namin noon pa. In fact, it was President Rodrigo Duterte, the former president, to advise us, Pastor, please open your gates to others para makita naman nila kung ano kayo nasa loob. So it was Pastor also who oriented us. Parang i-orient na kami na we cannot detach ourselves to others. We might be there, pero kailangan nating ipakita. Kasi sabi niya, let your light shine upon men that they may see your good works. But they cannot see the good works that the kingdom is doing. So, balik tayo doon sa mga men in uniform. It was this group that Pastor embedded into our hearts that we should love. Why? Anong sabi niya? Ito sila ang nag-lay down ng kanilang buhay to protect our country. Doon hindi kami familiar sa mga men in uniform before. But we started following Pastor. Kaya pag nakikita namin sila sa daan, mga ganun, nagbibigay kami ng food. Alam niyo yun, nagbibigay kami ng food, etc. But, sorry to say, Mr. Marbel, true ba to? Senator Bato, sorry to say, overnight sinira ninyo yung mga values na ipinunla ni Pastor sa aming mga puso. You said, sana maibalik namin yung, I hope in time because mayroon namang healing time, but this time we want to be heard. We want to be, gusto naming pakinggan. Buti nga, sabi nyo kanya, lahat may boses. Okay, kami may boses, wala kaming kapangyarihan tulad nila. Nasa kamay nila ang kapangyarihan ng bansa, nasa kamay nila ang kapangyarihan to do what they want. No? O, sabi nga ninyo, nag-serve sila ng warrant of arrest. Given. O, kung may kasalanan, sige. Allegedly, allegedly. Kung may kasalanan, warrant of arrest, go. In fact, Senator, gi-challenge ko sila. If you want to know who we are and what we are, come live with us, libre. Pero nag-expire na yung challenge ko sa kanila. Hindi na pwede ngayon. Oh. So, come live with us so that you will know who we are and what we are. Sabi ko gano'n, hindi kami dito prostitute, hindi kami bangag, walang tuni-tuniladang shabu sa aming lugar, yun lang, allegedly, nandyan yung mga iwawarant ninyo, arrest ninyo. Why will you put into compromise and risk public safety? We are part of the public. We are a community there. Thousands, may mga bata, may mga matandang palliative, may mga senior citizens katulad ko na nakatira doon. For how many long years we've been then? We are toiling that property by blood, sweat, and tears. Tapos maririnig namin na i-invade, kukunin. Kayo, Sir Senator, what will be your first reaction? Ilang beses silang nag-serve ng warrant of arrest out of respect. With due respect, Sir Marbel, sa mga tauhan mo, we receive them, sir. With
Dito sa
due
akin.
respect.
Dito sa akin. Sige.
Yeah. Oh, sir, sorry. I'm not used to it. That's one. So, we receive those yung mga warrant na deserve nila. But this time, from the words of Sir Abalos, nag-serve lang naman kami ng warrant of arrest. Parang kami pang may kasalanan. Ang batas ay batas. Ang may kasalanan mananagot, correct. Ang batas ay batas. Ang may kasalanan mananagot, doon kami. Oh. Pero, iko-contest ko yung sinabi niya, nag-serve lang kami ng warrant of. Hindi kayo nag-serve lang ng warrant of arrest. Nilusob ninyo kami in a horrible and terroristic way. Busloads and truckloads of men in uniform Madaling araw, tulog pa ang iba, kagigising namin. Sige kayo mga kagbawan, ikaw sir, lulusubin ka ng what will be your first reaction? Aba, ibibit-bit kami ng Biblia, tapos, oy, sabi sa Word of God, ganon? No! Kayo, may mga pamilya kayo, what will be your first reaction? Of course, we need to defend. Tapos sasabihin pa na, ginawa naming shield ang men at mga bata doon. It's not, we are shielding our property. We're just executing our rights to defend our property. Tapos, ganun pala. In fact, sabi ko sa nga, mayroon kayong proper na na document. O sige, may search warrant kayo. Sige, pati septic tank namin, i-open namin sa inyo. Silipin ninyo lahat, i-guide namin kayo. Saan niyo gustong pumunta? Sir, sabi mo na, time will, ibalik ang respeto sa kanila. Doon kami, nandun pa rin sa kaibuturan ng puso namin, nandun pa rin ang respeto. But, ang hurt at ang hurt na na-inflict ninyo, tuwing nakikita namin ang mga bata namin, in fact, ngayon, Senator, nag-organize kami ng psychometrician. Kasi yung mga bata, makarinig lang ng mga wangwang ng mga pulis, manginginig. Even I, sa katandaan ko ito, pag marinig ko ang kanilang wangwang, I cannot explain my feeling. I want to hate, pero hindi pwedeng i-hate. Yan.
Yeah, you may respond.
Can I be allowed
Chairman
to for a police? I have something, but I may be allowed that I should leave the. But
Yeah,
can
go
I read a simple message?
Go ahead. Continue.
Una sir, nagpapasalamat po ako dun sa inyo at dito sa ating committee, and of course dun sa tao natin nagpakita po ng video. It only showed that we not more than maximum tolerance ang pinakita nyo pong pulis, kahit nabasahin na masaktan. Talagang we followed po. We have yung mga body cams na meron po kami, and sabi ko nga dito sa Directorate for Operations na ipakita natin body cams if we really violated in human rights. But what we saw right now, talagang that's a human rights sa mga pulis natin na nasasaktan, yung binasa natin. And that's against yung rules 113 ng Section 11. No? But I've already si Vice Chairman Bernardo also already spoke regarding this. With regard po dun sa valid warrants of arrest, just want to make sure na valid po yung warrants of arrest na to up to now. No? You have 3 months na dapat na motion to quash, not against us, but dun sa RTC branch 159 ng Pasig City. No? And it was filed, not other people, but your own people from KOJC who filed a case against fugitive Kiboloy. Second, sir, yung second, we have already a case against the ombudsman, and we will be answering that in the proper forum po. All the violations na sinabi po nito, it's already filed in the ombudsman, and sabi ko nga, we will make a proper forum po, but we will answer it.
Although, si Bato, para lang siyang, para lang moderator eh. Hindi, he was not really acting as a real chairman. He was just moderating both parties eh. Play safe both sides. Pero mabuti na lang, mga kababayan, naninindigan yung taga KOJC na I think she's the head of acting in behalf of Pastor Kibuloy, na he made a distinction between warrant of arrest and search warrant. Warrant of arrest, syempre, i-arrest mo yung tao. Pero kung wala naman yung tao, hindi mo pwedeng pasukin yung kinaroroonan ng sinususpetsya mo because wala kang search warrant. And ito po dapat ang matutunan ni Marbel eh. Hindi pa siya natututo sa mga pinaggagawa niya, pati kay Inday Sara, pinagtatambangan pa niya ang ating Vice President. I hope these people will remember na hindi forever yung kanilang kanilang paghahari, yung kanilang wiwield ng poder as of now. O kung sino man nag-utos sa kanila, hindi po forever yan. Itong si General Torre, talagang he was plucked out from somewhere para talagang ilalagay dyan sa Davao dahil sanay na siya na walang hiya. Sanay na walang hiya ito Kasi he was kicked out from Samar as a persona non grata, and he will really do his thing. Wala siyang pakialam because all he has for himself is susunod-sunod lang siya because gusto niya ipakita na siya isang sip-sip na general. Walang pakialam sa mga nakapaligid doon sa kingdom ng mga taong bayan. Basta matupad lang niya at mapakita niya kay Abalos, mapakita niya kay Marcos na ang galing nito si Torre walang pakialam sa human rights, basta ipakita niya, tinatakot niya at kukunin niya si pastor at all cost, despite the fact that maraming masasaktan. So these are the kind of people na blind followers of despot, yung mga tyrants. These are the kind of people na naghahari dyan ngayon. And these are being shown by the KOJC people. Yung katotohanan na nangyayari dyan. Paring Ado, ano masabi mo?
This is a very bad pattern of power tripping and law enforcement officers obeying illegal orders. Kayong mga pulis, huwag kayong pakakasigurado dahil binabantayan kayo ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. And ang level, ang decibel, na ginagawa ninyo yan ay masyado ng malawak. And it even involves people who are high elected officials. Kung hindi kayo takot sa konstitusyon, matakot kayo sa Armed Forces of the Philippines. Your time will come. And you people, kayo mga nagpa-power tripping dyan, your time will come. Your time of reckoning will come. I am very sure of that. Dahil ganyan ang karma Kaya huwag kayong pakakasigurado na nandiyan kayo, protektado kayo ng mga nang-aabuso sa poder dyan sa itaas ninyo. Kasi baka sabay-sabay kayong bumagsak. Yan lang masasabi namin sa iyo. Galit na ang mga tao. Alarmado na ang mga tao. Hindi.
Well, they can still laugh at it. They can still ridicule it. Pero, walang bagay na walang hangganan. Remember, ERAP nagpapasasa ng todo, nagmamadyong, kung ano-anong mga kabulastugan na ginagawa ni ERAP. Papapatay sana si Governor Singson, o kung ano-anong mga ginagawa na kabulastugan noon. Pero dumating din yung day of reckoning. Dumating din yung nagmarcha ang taong bayan. May nagawa ba sila? Baka magkakaroon ng bloodshed, but ERAP chose otherwise. Chosen otherwise. Umalis siya doon sa Pasig River. So, these things will have its own place in our country because walang usok na pwede mong pigilan. It will just slip on your hands.
Saka wala ng moral ascendancy ang mga yan. Kinatatakot ko, Secretary, yung pag-alis ni ERAP, voluntary yun because hindi siya nagdodroga.
Oh.
Ito mga ito, kung abutan doon ng pinaalis sila, bangag sila at nanlaban. Ayan ang problema.
Well, yeah. Well,
Ayan ang problema.
that's destiny. If they
Baka
say that
magkaroon ng violence
presidency
yan.
is destiny, the ouster is also destiny. Ika nga nila. Marcos Sr., he wielded power for more than 20 years. But may hangganan. Noon wala pang social media. Oh. Si Erap, drunk of power, dumating din yung panahon na si Macapagal Arroyo. Si Macapagal Arroyo, Hello Garci and everything, napigilan lang dahil wala rin credibility yung hayop 10. Yung mga hayop 10 na umiwalay sa kanya, walang credibility. Kaya si Ramos at saka si Cardinal Sin has remained with Macapagal Arroyo. Kaya naagapan na hindi matanggal doon sa
At saka
Hello
nagsorry.
Garci.
Nagsorry.
I am sorry. Okay. Kailan ba mag-I am sorry itong ano na to? Dalawang diktador dyan sa Malacanang ngayon. Pero hindi daw marunong mag-sorry kasi hindi nila alam yung consciousness. They are influenced by evil forces in their heads.
Sabi nga ni Cathy Binag, yung abnormal nagiging normal. Yung kasalanan nagiging kabutihan.
Now, talking about yung hatred nila kay Duterte, there are people who, during the time of Digong, sila ay gusto nilang halikan sa poder. There are people na binay ng binay, pero last hour, bumaliktad kay Duterte. But Duterte never trusted these people. But anyway, at the end of the day, nandito na naman kay Marcos itong mga taong ito. And ngayon, gusto nilang manipulate ang ating bansa para magkaroon ng paghuli ang ICC kay President Duterte. In spite the fact na mayroon ng statement si Marcos na
A long time ago.
hindi gagalaw ang gobyerno maski sino. Hindi ko-cooperate sa ICC. Pero ito, pakinggan natin ito, si Secretary Remulla, may sinasabi na naman, trying to, they're trying to, para bang, kino-confuse ang tao, by means of, word manipulation. Ito, pakinggan natin.
War.
Oo.
So ano pong gagawin ng DOJ in the event na mag-issue po ng warrant of arrest yung ICC?
Ayan, magandang tanong yan eh. Kasi, anong pwedeng gawin ng DOJ tungkol sa bagay na to? Tsaka, how does it work? No? How does it work? Ito, very interesting to. I'm sure you may write about this the next few days. Kasi ang pinaka-mechanism, that is something in common between the countries, is the Interpol. Remember, in The Hague, doon naka-headquarter ang ICC tsaka Interpol across each other only. Tama ba ako? Across each other. Ito yung building ng ICC. Sa tapat niya, yun ang building ng Interpol. Headquartered lahat yan sa Hague. All supported by the United Nations. So, sanay mag-cooperate ang Interpol tsaka ng ICC. So, pag nagkaroon na ng problema yan, they will bring it through Interpol. And we are members of the Interpol. And we are not in the business of blocking any movement of the Interpol unless a policy is laid out, which of course will go against our international commitments. Kaya hindi natin ginagawa yan. So that is the future issue at hand now. Pag nag-issue ng warrant of arrest, it's the Interpol's job to serve it. And the Interpol, we are an adjunct of the Interpol. So, yun ang storya nun.
Hindi na po pipigilan ang Interpol na pumasok dito para
Alam mo
i-serve ang
yan,
warrant.
pag hinarang mo yan, magkakaroon tayo ng repercussions sa country. Pag-aralan pa rin namin kung anong pwedeng gawin. We will study the possibilities of or the implications of dealing with the Interpol on this matter. But we are not in the business of blocking the Interpol's job, which is to fight international crime. Yan ang ano dyan eh. Yan ang very, very tricky part of it. So it's going to be a question of the Interpol's role in this world of ours. Kasi hindi naman tayo nag-iisang bansa eh. We are not North Korea. We are part of the world community. Di ba?
Sir, paano po yun? Hindi tayo miyembro ng ICC, pero tayo ay member ng Interpol. Paano yung pagpapatupad nun? Kung sakasakali maglabas na nga ng warrant.
Eh, kung diniretso na ICC sa Interpol yan, may international notice na yan, meron ng notice ang Interpol, tapos merong request to implement, eh, sila na mag-uusap niyan. Kaya nga, yan, kailangan namin pag-usapan din as a legal group within the government. Pero most of the time, we respect the action of the Interpol. 99% of the time, or maybe 99.9% of the time.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Well, alam mo, with due respect, ito, napakalapit ito sa akin si Secretary Lumulya. We were once upon a time
Boying.
together in UP. When I was the illustrious fellow of Upsilon, he was my vice illustrious fellow. Malapit ito sa akin si Boying. Even we were together in Congress. Then I was with Duterte as one of his cabinet secretaries. I've always maintained a good relationship and a very high respect. Pero dito, may I just comment, with due respect, ang Interpol, maski that is organized as an international police, ba't hindi yan pwedeng dumirektang manghuli dito directly? Na pupunta they are in possession of a warrant of arrest from the ICC at susugurin nila si Duterte doon sa Davao by themselves without the cooperation of the local police, the NBI or whichever. I don't think that is a valid statement na wala tayo, hindi natin pwedeng pigilan, hindi natin pwedeng ang Interpol because they have their Interpol is not self-implementing and we should go back to the same statement made by President Marcos Jr. na since time immemorial, sinita nga niya yung karamihan na ilang beses na daw sinasabi na I will never allow or I will never permit any government agency to cooperate because we have our own sovereignty. The courts are the justice system. Tapos suddenly pag dumating ang Interpol, sasabihin ni Marcos na Marbel Mr. Santiago, tulungan niyo yung Interpol, samahan niyo kay Duterte para hulihin. I don't think that is a valid because it would be tantamount as violating the statement and the decision of Marcos Jr. na hindi makialam ang any agency of government. So how can the Interpol succeed in capturing or apprehending President Duterte? Pangalawa, alam mo, with due respect, do you really think blood will not be in our hands if pipilitin nila ng Interpol si Duterte? Do you really think the Interpol hindi lalabanan ni Duterte yan at magkakabarilan dyan? There are so many loyal soldiers pa rin si Duterte. There are still a lot of people in Mindanao will die for Duterte. I think Duterte can always die anytime if he wants to. He can sacrifice his life for the Filipino people to protect the interests of the Filipino people and its war against drug. Pero nungka na susugurin nila doon na
Bloodshed yan.
magkakamali kayo at basta-basta na lang papayag yan na dukutin ng Interpol. Oh. Pero ito, Interpol will not be able to self-implement whatever warrant of arrest they are. There must be certain respect of the local authorities to do it for them. But if Marcos is already saying all along for so many times na hindi makikialam ang local agencies, mga offices, then what DOJ is saying is an empty statement. Pangalawa, unless nagmoro-moro, unless Marcos is saying this
Doing another thing.
on the surface is saying that, pero iba ang instruction niya
Sa baba.
sa baba. Well,
But it's a very bad...
that's the biggest betrayal of all times.
It's a very bad strategy kasi ang
Kasi
claim,
hindi naman mga bobong taong bayan na basta-basta lang din hindi mahalata yung mga moro-moro na gano'n, di ba?
sinasabi ninyo you're protecting the sovereignty of the country doon sa South China Sea, tapos in another respect yung sovereignty natin dito ikukompromiso nyo.
Yeah. So, yun lang. I mean, ako, I highly respect this DOJ secretary, pero not at all times na baka pwedeng magiging tama siya at all times. Ito, baka tama ngayong sinasabi, nagrespeto din ako sa kanya, dahil magkaibigan kami, I'm his senior brad, nagre-respeto din ako sa kanya, kasi sinabi naman din niya na pag-aralan muna natin. Wag na munang ituloy yung mga statements that are not, that the government is not well prepared. Kasi baka magkamali, mag-confuse tayo, tapos there will be bloodshed at the end of the day. Because President Duterte, I know, I've served him well. Maraming magpapakamatay dyan. Hindi yan basta-basta na susuko na lang. Because he knows that he fought for the country. He fought for every citizen against the drug menace. So, wag niyong ismulin ang ating dating Pangulo. Yun lang po ang masasabi ko dyan.
Huwag kalimutan mag-subscribe dito sa iparushkayparas at i-click ang notification bell at mag-subscribe na rin po kayo sa aking YouTube channel at Ado Paglinawan. Nagpapaalam na po kami, Secretary.
Magandang hapon po muli.